Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live this morning, and good to have you on with us. A little change of scenery here this morning as I do the program. You'll notice some birds chirping. And Jen, good morning. How are you? And maybe just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me properly and see me. Good to have you on. Rosalinda, Laura, good morning. Brahim, good morning. And Nativity, okay, good. I appreciate my friendly followers. Kadaju and Andrea, nice to have you on. Jocelyn and Sandra, good morning. Nick from our staff, good morning. Colette, good to have you on this morning. Mary, do I have any American friends on so I can say, Wendy, good morning. Jeanette, I can wish them a happy July the 4th. Bruno, Kevin, Mary Jane from Connecticut. There we go. At least one. And Brahim, of course, from Portland, Oregon. Suzanne, Micheline, our buddy, Dr. Troy in Newfoundland. Rita, good morning. Pauline, Donna, good morning. Did you miss me? Took a couple of days last week. Diane, Wendy, Georgie, good morning. Yolande, bonjour. Freeline, sorry. Faye, good morning. BC. New Jersey, Kadaju, how are you? And Natalie, Oshawa. Roma. Fran from Orangeville. Debbie, Sturgeon Falls. Rose, good morning. And Brenda. And Roma is saying hi. Diney, good morning. Darlene, nice to have you on with us. See the outside setting here, beautiful. Bruno. And Ken. And Diane, bonjour. Okay, it's question and answer this morning. Jeffrey, Stephanie, Veronica, couple of more. Chantal, wouldn't want to miss you. Chantal from Ottawa. Dolores from Maryland. How are you, Dolores? Rhonda, Yvonne, Wanda. Okay, questions. Starting with Susanna this morning. What if the diagnosis is cirrhosis of the liver? Susanna, you're asking a good question because you're asking, does that start with fatty liver? Possibly. Now, cirrhosis of the liver is very advanced. One good thing about your liver, almost like any other organ in your body, it is very, very regenerative, okay? Unless you got cancer. Liver cancer is usually very deadly. Usually very little chance of reversing that. Cirrhosis of the liver, that means severe scarring of the liver. There's still a good chance you can reverse it. If you clean up your diet, of course, cirrhosis of the liver usually comes from alcohol, right? Usually. That was synonymous. Like I always say, back in the 1970s when I was in school, early 70s, the cirrhosis of the liver is the only thing you ever read about liver. I mean, you rarely ever read about liver cancer, although it existed, but it certainly isn't to the extent. Liver cancer is all probably up about 300% in the last 30 years. And, medicine generally, it's almost like they don't clue in. Like, if something is happening at such a high rate, why wouldn't that, okay, why? I'm always asking that question. Why does that happen? So in my textbooks, we would read about cirrhosis of the liver. Very common, alcoholic, cirrhosis of the liver. But today, we have a brand new condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver. They actually named it non-alcoholic fatty liver. And you can reverse that. You can empty your liver in 6 weeks. In 6 days. And it's amazing how fast you can help to regenerate the liver. Now, if it's gone to cirrhosis, that's going to be a more difficult task, but it certainly is worth clearing out that liver. And don't let it get toxic. Sugar toxifies the liver. Fructose toxifies the liver. Alcohol and fructose operate in the same way, directly off to the liver. And so I would get off all sugars, especially high fructose corn syrup. Darlene, what can be the cause of Achilles tendonitis? Well, listen, you can get a tendonitis from walking too much, in sports injuries. You can get Achilles tendonitis from wearing bad shoes, having very flat metatarsal arches. That can really put pressure on the Achilles tendon. And usually it's injury or that type of thing. And look, whenever I talk about tendonitis, you guys know me. I talk about food. Because one of the things, and the word we use is glycation. Like if you get a tendonitis or a contracture, even your hand, they call it Dupuytren's contracture. Anything that sort of calcifies tendons or can even give you a tendonitis. One thing about the reset, when you get off sugars, it really can make a difference on your tendons and your muscles and injuries and recovery time. It's amazing. Like, injuries happen. But if you're on a good diet, if you're laying off those crappy carbs and the sugars, that makes a huge difference. Okay, thanks, Darlene. And I like, by the way, for Achilles tendonitis, I like inflammation formula. Really works for that. Patricia, I've been reading a lot about macular degeneration. Okay, as I have a friend who has the onset of it. Okay, which is blurry vision. That's usually the onset. Its recommendation is to cut back or even eliminate coffee. Now, Patricia, you just gave me, I know you didn't mean to, but you just gave me a headache. Okay? I just got a splitting migraine when I read, not coming from you, because you read it somewhere else, right? So I don't take it personally, Patricia, but you just gave me a headache. Why on God's earth would someone, any physician, anywhere, say, don't drink coffee for macular degeneration? What are they talking about? Coffee is a powerful antioxidant. I'll tell you how you get, Patricia, how you get macular degeneration. It's people with blood vessel problems, high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, and that kind of thing. The best thing you can do is drink coffee. The best, the real vitamin C. It's craziness when I hear stuff like that. It's craziness, guys. Don't listen to that stuff. Coffee, it's 500 times stronger than vitamin C. Certainly they wouldn't tell you to not take vitamin C for macular degeneration. It's blood supply. Your eyeballs, it's blood vessels. Coffee is good for your blood vessels. It's good for everything else too. No, but seriously, it is, that would be actually something that I would tell a patient to take. Drink coffee. It's so good for your blood supply to your eyeballs. Okay. Patricia, yeah, no truth to it at all. Thank you for asking the question, because I get to pontificate. And guess what? My headache has gone away. Grace, what are my thoughts on palm oil? Well, palm oil is a fruit oil. Now, the only negative thing that you will read about palm oil, well, for people that don't know anything about what saturated fat is, saturated fat is a satisfied fat. Palm oil is a fruit oil, often used in a mixture with coconut oil or whatever to get, the MCT oils, okay? Like in a bulletproof coffee. They often use palm oil. Now, the only negative thing that I've ever read is how they get it, and it's hard on the rainforest and all this and that. And look, that may be true. I don't know. That's not my area of expertise. But when you're asking me medically, palm oil is a fruit oil. It's a good oil because its fat is saturated. It's a medium chain fatty acid, and it's a satisfied fat. Okay? That's when I say saturated fat, it means it's satisfied. It's not subject to denature. It's not subject to heat that denatures it, and it's actually good for you. It's not going to break down. It's going to make your blood vessels even more slippery. Look, I'm you know me. I talk about olive oil. I talk about coconut oil, and those are good oils. I like bacon better. Bacon has the same oleic acid. I like bacon better, but I still like olive oil. I still like palm oil. I still like coconut oil, and stay away from the vegetable oils. The ones you can run your car on. Okay, like canola and safflower and sunflower and that kind of thing. Okay, Barbara, I purchased an elliptical. How long do you need to jump on it in your workout to get the best benefits? Well, first of all, Barbara, let me just say this, because this is me, and I like to give sweet spots. I have an elliptical at home too, okay? Most ellipticals, they use for clothes hangers, okay? Because people buy them and then they stop using them. Look, I like a more high intensity, short duration. I use a combination of get on my elliptical. I often do a Tabata, which is a 4-minute. You can get an app on your phone. It's 4 minutes of high, like go hard. 20 seconds hard, 10 seconds on. I have it on my, I think the app is called Gym Boss. It's free. And it'll ring every 20 seconds. You go hard, then it dings, and then you slow down, and then you go hard again. That's it. Like, I'm not big on I like going for a walk, but you want to do an elliptical and do 30 minutes, and yeah, look, it's not going to hurt you. It's actually good for you. Nothing wrong with it. But here's Barbara. Here's the but, okay? It's Barbara, right? Yeah, Barbara. Make sure elliptical is not weight training. I'm big on getting strong. Elliptical won't make you strong. It's good for your heart. It's a good aerobic. I'm not against it. I have one. But don't rely on that only. That will not get you in tip-top shape. You want to be strong. So make sure I like weights or bands. So that kind of thing is the best, okay? A combination of those two things. Okay. Diane, asking for a friend. Okay. They have their gallbladder removed and having the same type of attack. She is disappointed. Well, listen, that can happen, by the way. It's almost like a phantom thing. The gallbladder's gone, but still getting. But you tell your friend there's good news, okay? I'm telling you there's good news. Get off all sugars, get off all carbohydrates. Remember, when your gallbladder is gone, your liver Gallbladder is a reservoir. You can live without your gallbladder. I don't recommend you live without it. If you can keep your gallbladder healthy, but plan B with your body is that your bile is actually made in your liver. So what I want your friend to do is get her liver healthy. Okay? Get her liver healthy. It'll produce bile again, empty the liver, because she probably has a start a fatty liver and having trouble producing bile. Okay? Bile is very important. It comes out of the liver. You need cholesterol to make bile. Okay? And bile is important. Now remember, you don't have a gallbladder. You may still have some gallbladder symptoms. I've seen that many a times. You've got to go one step back and clean that liver up. Do the reset. Now look, she might not be able to do as much fat content to start until her body gets used to it. But get off the sugars, get off the carbs, get off the high fructose corn syrup that is in all the sugars. Get off that stuff, okay? Now, good question, Diane. Thank you. Betty, when I get food poisoning, I get off balance and cannot walk. Well, hopefully, Betty, you're not getting food poisoning very often. Why would that be, and what can I do for it? Well, look, that's, first of all, Betty, food poisoning ought to be very, very rare. Usually, look, here's what I say. If you have a good stomach and a good microbiome, you see, when you have good acidity in your stomach, you want to have a very, very high acidity in your stomach, okay? If your stomach is good, ordinarily you will rarely, if ever, get food poisoning. Because salmonella or whatever gets destroyed by your stomach acid, if you have very good stomach acid. So one of the best ways I love balsamic vinegar. I like apple cider vinegar to make the stomach more acidic. And I like digestive enzymes. Really, really help with that. Probiotics really help with that. Okay? So thanks for the question. We really appreciate that, Betty. Marilyn and Alice asking a question together. Wow, I think that's the very first time, as far as I know, on question and answer. What do you think of taking copper as a supplement? Well, not much, okay? You got to be careful with copper. Listen, if you take a trace mineral, I like copper with other trace minerals. You don't need much copper to be healthy. You can, and you don't want to overdose on copper. What I'm saying is this. If you're eating eggs, meat, and cheese, Alice, and let me just see here, my memory, Marilyn. Alice and Marilyn, listen. If you're eating eggs, meat, and cheese, you don't have to take copper as a supplement. You don't have to. You won't be deficient in it. People that eat junk, people that live on salad. I'm not saying salad is junk, okay? Don't misquote me. I said junk and then I said salad, okay? If you're living on chicken and salad, you could have a copper trace mineral deficiency. And then you might want to just take some trace minerals. You know how you take trace minerals? Get some Himalayan salt or a good kosher sea salt. And you're going to get copper in that. But when you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, you don't need copper. It's in copper is in eggs, meat, and cheese. You get your trace minerals. You really do. Okay. Susan, can you talk about the cancer-fighting properties of mushrooms, please? Well, listen, Susan, and look, this is just me, okay? You're asking me. I don't have I haven't seen enough patients get results with mushrooms, Reiki or whatever mushrooms in cancer. Here's what Dr. Martin says about cancer. I know I'm deviating from your question, Susan, but I have to, because I want to talk about what really works when it comes to cancer. Cut out sugar. 1. Right? No sugar. High DHA. They're showing it. The research is showing it. Mushroom research has not hit the level of high DHA and how it makes tumors explode. Not to spread, but to burst, to break them down. No sugar, high DHA, and my friend, vitamin D. Vitamin D. Vitamin D. The sun. There's not a mushroom on the planet can do what vitamin D does. Vitamin D supercharges your immune system. Vitamin D takes you, what did I talk about the other day? The thymus gland. Here's your thymus gland. Get the sun. Because your T cells go to school at the U of T, the university of your thymus. And they get educated on how to fight cancer and but T cells don't work without vitamin D. They just don't. So you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying mushrooms are no good. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is here's what I like. Vitamin D, high DHA. Get your insulin down. No sugar. Insulin is a growth hormone. And get your estrogen down. Estrogen is a growth hormone. That is, my friend, my protocol in sort of a nutshell. And I really like that. So Susan, sorry, I'm not going to talk too much about mushrooms because there's not a lot of research on it. And my clinical experience is, I can't compare it, for example, to the effectiveness of vitamin D. Okay, Jan, I am 69. Well, you're just a pup, Jan. You're just a pup if you're 69. What is the reason my hair, skin would become oily since I started using progesterone cream? Well, look, I love progesterone. I love elevating your progesterone compared to, it's a teeter-totter effect. You want it to be balanced between estrogen and progesterone. Look, Jan, all I'm saying is if you're getting oily, it's not because the progesterone caused that. If it did, Jan, you're the first one on the planet that's happened to, as far as I know. Okay? And I like balance. Get your estrogen down. Because usually oily skin and people that get acne, adult acne, way too much estrogen, that could be elevating your testosterone. I wouldn't blame the progesterone, in my opinion. Are you getting hot flashes again? Well, usually your progesterone is too low if you're getting hot flashes. Estrogen too high, progesterone too low, Jan. Okay? But everybody's an individual. You're 69 years old. Jan, you got your own fingerprints, and you may be, I don't want to say weird, because nobody likes that. I like that word, but they don't. Or people tell me not to use it. Let me say, Jan, you may be unique. Okay? You're fearfully, wonderfully made, and you don't have anybody else's fingerprints. You're just got yours, okay? Everybody's different. Okay, good question. Now, peanut. If you had to choose for a 1-year-old between A2 milk or goat milk, what would it be? Well, look, A2 milk is like usually with just ordinary milk, you got casein, A1 and A2. A2 only has one form of casein. You know what? Can I be... Look, you know me, Peanut. Well, I don't know if you do, but if you don't, you're going to know me after this. A 1-year-old, okay, once they're done with mommy, if you want to give them, I like dairy. I'm not against dairy. I just don't like milk as it is. A2 milk, there's still calcium in it. And it's usually not calcium. It's the lactose. It's still got lactose in it. And if you have a good microbiome, if that baby has a good microbiome, you know, I like water. Wean the baby on water. Goat's milk is probably better. But even then, why do they need to drink milk anymore? They're starting to eat solids. Drink water. And if you're going to give them anything, give them some cream. And water that down. Because then you're getting the benefits of full fat. I like the fat. And grocery store milk has eliminated the fat. That's why I call it white Pepsi. Okay. Jen, would you say coffee and cacao? Not cocoa. Cacao. Cacao. C-A. Oh. How do you say it? Cacao? Not cocoa. Cacao. Oh boy, how to get my tongue twisted early in the morning. Would you say they have the same benefits? Well, yes and no. Like, cacao, it's a polyphenol. It's good for you. It's certainly bitter. You're not just drinking cacao. You're drinking coffee. Nothing, Jen, compares to coffee. Nothing. I'm sorry. And you guys must admit something. I am consistent as all get out. If you've been following me 20-something years on the radio, the last several years doing these podcasts and lives, I've been consistent. I said it. Well, I used to say it 40 years ago. When they used to tell me coffee was no good, I used to say, well, who told you that? That's not true. That's not science. That is propaganda. Coffee's good for you. And I don't know so much about, like, cacao. Somebody tell me how to pronounce that after, if I murdered it. And yeah, it's not bad for you. It's bitter. I know that. It's bitter compared to coffee, okay? There's less caffeine. Well, who cares? Drink a decaf. Drink a decaf coffee. There's nothing wrong with decaf coffee. It's good for you. Okay, Jocelyn. Should you avoid vitamin C? Okay. If you have high calcium reading in blood work? No. And what do you mean, coffee? Or do you mean the other vitamin C, ascorbic acid? No. If you got high calcium in your blood work, that's because you got problems with parathyroid. And you need vitamin K2 to take that calcium out of your bloodstream and put it where it belongs. And guess how you get guess how you get vitamin K2? Butter. Okay, so vitamin C really has nothing to do with that. It really doesn't. Butter, cheese curds has the highest source of vitamin K2. And vitamin K2 doesn't get near the amount of research that it deserves because it's so good for you. Vitamin K2. And isn't it interesting that God put, think of what cheese is. Calcium, vitamin K2, butter, calcium, and K2. You see, in nature, that's how you get your vitamin K2. You eat it. When you eat eggs, meat, and cheese, and butter, get back to the farm. Now, if you got high levels of calcium, it's not because you're eating too much calcium. It's because your parathyroid glands are not working properly. Para, on the side of your thyroid, okay? And they will produce calcitonin, and your thyroid does too. Okay, Sherry. Oh, I want to sing. You say low carb, but what does that mean? I eat occasionally carb. Sherry, okay. Let me just give you the old Coles Notes version of what I'm talking about when I say low carb. Okay? Here's the Coles Notes version. Okay? For you young people, you don't know what Coles Notes are? It's the Google version. Okay? You Google something, you get a short answer. Okay? Now, low carb eating is, all over the map when you talk to different gurus. Okay? Even guru friends of mine. Okay? They'll tell you, oh, that's under 100 grams or whatever. Look, first of all, let me re-emphasize. The reset is 0 grams of carb for 30 days. Okay? I'm not telling you to stay on the reset the rest of your life. But low carb eating is about, I like between 20, 30 grams a day of carbohydrates. Okay? Now, if you're in terrific shape and you can, you don't have any problem with weight and you got muscles coming out the wazoo, good for you. You might be able to take some more carbs than that. Look, every once in a while, you're going to have a plate of pasta or whatever. Look, if you're metabolically well and you're not in the 88% that are upside down when it comes to their metabolism and their metabolic syndrome and they're unhealthy, lay off the carbs and keep them under 20. You can go over that if you're in tremendous metabolic shape. But I'm not big on carbohydrates because your body doesn't need carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are like, treats, and you don't need many treats. Okay? So I you know what? You got to sort of find out what your, Sherry, where you're at in your personal. Okay, Rita, magnesium threonate is, I heard, and you know what? These are good questions, Rita, okay? You heard that magnesium threonate is better than magnesium citrate. Well, I'd say you heard wrong. Now, I'm not against magnesium. I like magnesium. I do. I like all kinds of magnesium. Here's Dr. Martin's 2 pennies worth, okay? I am big on citrate. Why? Because it's been chelated. Citrate means chelated, means it's ready to be absorbed. And I like magnesium citrate. It's very bioavailable. Now, any magnesium. The only side effects of magnesium, and people sometimes pick, I've had practitioners talk to me about magnesium threonate, and they'll say, well, I like it because of the brain. Yeah, magnesium is good. I like it. I like citrate better. It's more absorbable in my opinion. And the only side effect of any magnesium is if you take too much, you're going to get diarrhea, or you're going to get loose stool, or you might get some spasms in your gut because you're taking too much. But I like magnesium. You guys know that. Okay? I like it. Okay. Thanks for the question, Rita. Deborah, post-op, 5 weeks, knee surgery. Wondering if it's good to get sun on the incision. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything better than Viderma? Viderma. Put some Rivera on it. You'll see. It'll heal up even faster, Deb. But yeah, big thing, right? Get in the sun and even get your knee. Your body wants that Viderma. It's very anti-inflammatory. Vitamin D from the sun is very anti-inflammatory. Okay? Okay, Rose. Is high blood pressure mean that there's inflammation somewhere in the body? That's a good question, Rose. Look, inflammation, as I always say, is not Houdini. Okay? It's not Houdini. Inflammation is always caused by something, okay? Either high circulating insulin, leaky gut, or oxidative damage, free radical damage. So high blood pressure is usually as a result of high circulating insulin. And so there would be inflammation there. But you're not, you don't want to just lower inflammation, you want to lower your insulin, because that's the first step. If you lower your insulin, your inflammation levels will go down. And you lower your insulin, most often, your blood pressure goes down. Isn't that amazing, right? Okay, so good. Gloria. Is there a better time to take the vitamin D from the sun? Well, morning is really, really good look, any time of the day the sun is good. In terms of getting your 10,000 IUs, hey, if your arms and legs are exposed, you're going to get 10,000 IUs in 20 minutes. You can sunbathe. You probably get a little bit more melatonin into the produced by the pineal gland, your third eye, in the morning sun. Okay, so don't put your sunglasses on to start your day. Okay, don't go look in the sun, but don't put your sunglasses on. Let yourself get that melatonin. 10, 15 minutes in, you can put your sunglasses on if you want to. Okay? But morning, noon, or afternoon, who cares? It's always good. It's always good. Joanne, does any prescription drugs affect the microbiome? Is it mostly? Well, it's mostly antibiotics. But here's one a class of medication that really affects it, and you can get these over the counter. That is non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. So, like Aleve and Celebrex and all these things, any non-steroidal anti-inflammatory will really affect your microbiome. But so does steroids, prednisone, and cortisone. They affect your, almost every medication affects your microbiome. Because remember, microbiome is everywhere. It's from your brain to your toes. It's on your skin. We live around bacteria. We live in a bacterial swamp, our body. It is. And that's why I'm so against always over cleaning and worrying about that. Your body is made for bacteria. It harmonizes with bacteria. As long as you have enough good ones, you'll always keep the bad ones at bay. It's the idea. And almost every medication I can think of has a negative effect on the microbiome. And that's why I'm so big on taking probiotics. Okay, get the friendly bacteria back. Very good questions. Thank you very much. Okay, a few more here. Beverly, why do men get hot flashes? Because they're women. Men, I've often said this, men are women today. After the age of 50, their testosterone goes down and their estrogen goes up. And most men after the age of 50 have more estrogen than their wives, and that's not good. It's not good for the prostate. It's not good for hot flashes, And men, don't ever complain to your wife about hot flashes, okay? Because you don't know what you really don't get them like women do. And if you do, you got too much estrogen. But don't complain. If you ever had a period, we'd go shoot ourselves. Men are big babies. Men are big babies. Yeah, Beverly, too much estrogen. A 6-year-old, what would you recommend for ADHD? Well, Roxanne, look, you got to get them off sugar. That's not an easy thing. But 6-year-olds are not stupid. They're smart. I used to talk to kids all the time in my office, and I'd say, here, look in my eyeballs. I'm going to talk to you about food. What do you eat in the morning? Cereal. You like bacon? Yeah, I like bacon, Doc. Okay, good. Then eat bacon before you go to school, and you'll be surprised how much your brain, ADHD or ADD, and they were bouncing off walls. They couldn't focus. Kids that couldn't focus or whatever. It's the diet. And then, big thing, Roxanne, big thing, get the right oil in their brain. Get the right oil. They're low. They need an oil change. Instead of eating crappy carbs with bad oils, they need an oil change. They need to go to the best oil in the world, which is high DHA oil. You can get it in a liquid form if you need to. High DHA, your brain is made up of fat. And healthy fat. DHA fat. And when that chemistry, when those neurotransmitters get out of whack in a kid, they got low oil and they need an oil change. They need to get off the sugars as much as possible. Look, they're kids. I understand that. And I like high DHA oil, and I like Navitol because it crosses the blood-brain barrier for kids. Amazing the results I got with that. Okay, I think there's one more question. Ginny, my friend. You see, people are asking for friends. That's all right. My friend does not eat butter or cheese. How can she get calcium? Did she eat meat, steak? Why wouldn't he eat butter or cheese? Who told him that? Okay? No, you can get calcium. Look, you can get some calcium. It's not near as bioavailable in green leafy vegetables, in the nuts and seeds. But they're not near as bioavailable as the calcium you're going to get in eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay? And don't take a calcium supplement. You don't need calcium. Okay? Take vitamin D. Tell her to get out in the sun. It's amazing. Okay? And hopefully she eats some meat. Okay. Ginny, thanks for the questions. Okay, guys. I think we got through them all this morning. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, we got a great week lined up. Great studies. So we're going to have some good conversations this week. Okay? So if you're not a member of the private Facebook group, hey, go for it. Go for it. You got to get in with our community. It's so much fun. Okay? Join our cast of thousands. And if you have friends, because a lot of you have friends, I saw that this morning. If you have friends and they can't watch this podcast, they can watch it later on the Doctors In podcast, and they can download it on their smartphone. You let them know that. And tell them they can get notices on Facebook for our Facebook Lives, okay? Just go to martinclinic.com. We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.